First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens. Where are you, Rob?
Funny story, Joy. I am at a hotel in my hometown, and I just had a very funny realization. There's a lot going on at the house this morning, so I figured I should duck out someplace that I knew I could actually get some quiet. And it just dawned on me that I showed up to this hotel in gym clothes with a backpack and a stupid ear-to-ear grin because I was so excited to do this, right? And I go to check in, and she's like, I'm not seeing your thing. I said, oh, it was actually for last night. I'm only going to be here for a couple hours. And she was like, oh, okay. And I'm giddy, and I'm like looking at my watch, and she's like, okay, here's your room. I'm like, great, thanks, see ya. And I thought, I didn't occur until I got to my room that she for sure thinks I'm having an affair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I have a wedding ring. I'm wearing gym. I look like a guy who was like, honey, I'm going to the gym. And then
oh my God.
Dipped out to the hotel in his hometown for an hour and a half. Why would I admit that? I mean, I guess because checkout's at noon. But so for sure, this hotel staff right now thinks that I'm the guy having an affair.
Amazing. I think you should just keep it going. Just confuse everyone. Gives everybody something to talk about.
Guys, I'm just a boy with a podcast. I'm not having an affair.
Oh my God, Rob.
That is the perfect way to kick off this episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Drama Queens. We have season 7, episode 3, Hold My Hand As I'm Lowered, air date September 28th, 2009. Hey, Sophia, you want to read the synopsis?
I sure do, Joy. The synopsis of this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is Clay and Nathan disagree on how to handle an ever-worsening scandal, and Haley begins to wonder if Renee's accusations have merit. Quinn and Brooke organize a photo shoot, and Mouth ups the stakes in his battle with skills. Meanwhile, Alex makes Julian an interesting proposition. And of course, this episode was directed by Liz Friedlander. She is just so great with pace.
So before we get started, I have to tell you guys, for all you friends out there, I am in Cooperstown, New York, because my nephew is playing in the Cooperstown tournament. If you don't know much about baseball, it's like a little league. 12-year-olds get chosen from their teams, get chosen from all over the country and selected to come. It's like the best of the best all over the country. They come play. There's 95 teams, and then they all play all week and whittle it down into the final 2. And then there's a championship. So it's very exciting. So I'm here with the whole family in the woods to watch my nephew play baseball. And we were all piled on top of each other, and there's a lake and the kids, and it's all been really fun. And that's all to tell you that I did not watch the episode. I'm so sorry. So you have
gasp.
You guys are going to have to tell me what happened.
I was like, where are we going with this? I love the setting.
I know. I'm sorry. So I am now going to be the fan who is listening to the episode. Like, okay. I don't remember this. So what is it that's going on? So you're going to have to fill me in a little bit.
Fortunately for you, I think Soph and I are overachievers, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want to speak for you, Soph, but I think it's safe to assume you as well took copious notes. And
I sure did.
We can cliff notes this in our sleep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm so sorry. This is the first time in the history of our Drama Queens where I have not watched the episode, but I apologize and super appreciative for the way that you guys show up, and we'll fill in the blanks for me.
I appreciate your honesty because I actually was wondering this the other day. I thought, I wonder if there's ever been a time where one of them hasn't watched the episode. And then I thought, if I was in that spot, would I come out and just be honest and lead with it? Or would I play that game of, just yes-anding everything and to see if I could like sneak by? So way to be brave, Joy. Way to be honest.
Just trying to be real, y'all. So somebody start, because it can't be me.
So we open on a French cafe and a little boy doing a yo-yo. A cat walks by. No, I'm kidding. So where do we start?
We actually open on you, Joy. The first shot of the episode is Haley looking through the sonogram image and the photos of Nathan and Renee at that party, half of which Clay is in the background of, which was a nice little touch on behalf of Set Deck.
Mm-hmm.
So Haley knows, and this is gonna get real.
Yeah.
Do we know what James or what Nathan told her? Like, was it Is he sticking to his story, right? Like it's all the same thing that he's told Clay.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
He's adamant that he hasn't done it, which is great because then he's constantly infuriated that we're even entertaining any options of paying this woman off. She's asked for $200,000 to go away. You are incensed by that, rightfully so. So that's kind of where you all are at. And then, well, I don't want to get ahead of it, but yeah, it leads to sort of a butting of heads between Clay and Haley, because that, in fact, this is the scene, Joy, when I was telling you my first memory of this show is you screaming at me on an outdoor patio set. It was this episode. It's when you show up to Clay's beach house and you're basically laying into me saying like, what are you doing? How dare you?
Yeah.
You didn't do it. Why would you let this happen? And it's a great scene. And it also, we're jumping ahead a bit, but I'm curious. So if you notice the same thing, we reconcile that scene a little bit later where I come down the pier and talk to you. And I end it with an extraordinarily awkward, questionable choice.
Yeah,
Should we just talk about it right now?
Get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you lay into me. Clay has a fair counter argument, which is this is Nathan's dream. He's worked incredibly hard for it. It's a contract year. This could really make everything go sideways. So this might be a worthwhile investment. It's one commercial, and if it helps him get his deal, it saves the big picture dream. Which you hear, but is also, of course, infuriating. You walk away from my house down the pier, and I come meet up with you. And it's a bit calmer heads prevail situation where I'm like, I hate this too. It just seems like the smarter play. You're like, okay, we come to an agreement. And then Clay / me made the choice to go ahead and put a creeper arm around you.
Oh.
The only thing I could think in my head was maybe I was trying to subtly tell the story that we have now known each other a while and we've grown close. Okay.
That seems reasonable.
That said, I still, though, put the arm around you. And at the very end, go back, viewers, you can see I kind of give you the little thumb rub on the shoulder like you do with a kid or a loved one. And I just felt like the combo of the two, it just was enough for me to go, nah. Come on, Clay.
What's also hilarious to me is that the choice is made after the two of you have been arguing up on the porch. And Haley is literally like, but you know what it looks like. Like, you know how bad this looks, even though he's a good guy. and Clay's argument is he's a grown man. And you go, so are you. Act like it. It's like such a great moment. And then I'm like, anyone who took a photo of Clay and Haley on that pier from a distance, when he puts his arm around her and she you lean your head back on him. I'm like, it looks like two people on a date. It looks bad. Didn't we just cover this?
Scandal all around.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I think you're absolutely right, Rob. I think that was super intentional. We wanted to create the sense of familiarity that you've been around for a long time, because we definitely, I feel like, especially at the beginning of this season with new characters, there's this sense of kind of overcompensation, maybe of like, we're just working really hard to make the audience believe it and not just trusting. But also that seems totally reasonable if you have been around for a long time. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Do I let my friend, it's not like you're married. I guess if it was like my friend's husband, it might be a little more uncomfortable, but you're a single guy, but I'm married. I don't know.
Also, we've never seen Clay hug you yet. We've seen us interact in scenes and we haven't been physically affectionate. So it was just odd that, as Soph was saying, on the heels of a conversation of appearances, that on the heels of, this was the time. This was a moment where I felt like,
you're right.
I understand us as actors making that mistake because we're in this bubble in this moment trying to create this world. This is the job of someone behind the monitor who's just watching it on the square needs to go, nah. The optics look a little weird, guys. That's
tough for a visiting director to come in and, I mean, Liz had been in and out of the show, but that's a tough job because she doesn't know what's coming. And she only has the information that she's been given from the previous episodes, but there's so little time in prep that it's not like visiting directors have time to just read all the previous scripts of the last 4 episodes and then make sure they can't even see the edit because the edit's usually not done by the time they start prep. That's hard. It's hard to be able to put every little thing in context.
Yeah.
When you're just dropping in for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And I will say the first pass of it, I was like, it's sibling-y. And then it just made me giggle thinking about like what the long lens paparazzi photo of it would look like.
Yeah.
But I also get that other point, that if you've got a director visiting who says, well, what's the relationship between your characters? And it's like, he's like a brother to me. He's my husband's agent. And then they go, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I wonder if it would have been a smart PR move to have a paparazzi on a long lens take that photo, and then that also would get leaked. And then it's like, oh, everybody thinks it's lots of scandal. But then if you find out that the thing with Clay and Haley is just really nothing and he's just consoling her and they're being friendly, then maybe the public would be less likely to believe the thing about the other woman too. And they just throw all the baby out with the bathwater and the whole thing gets thrown in the wash. Maybe that's what a crisis comes. I don't know.
I'm like, well, that's dark.
Yeah, and that wasn't me taking a swipe at Liz. That was more just that thing of the like, sometimes you don't know when you're the actor in the scene, just what the outside appearance of it, looks like.
Well, and that's when you really hope to your point, one of our producers, like who watches every day, is actually on set for that scene, and they can go, I get what you're going for, but it looks a little weird.
No, exactly. It is the job of the people who are there long term to be able to jump in and fill in those blind spots, because a visiting director only has so much capacity. So it really does depend on that. So maybe somebody dropped the ball. I don't know. Or maybe it worked. Fans, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did it work? Did it make you feel endeared to Clay?
Yes. Let us know. I'm actually so curious. Please let us know if you thought it was creepy or sweet.
Yeah. Brotherly or meh?
Because I think, actually, now that you say that, Joy, I do think we were trying to go for a very familial brother-sister thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let us know. Fans, was it creepy brother or sweet brother?
I feel like creepy or sweet could be a really fun thing to do at the end of episodes.
Yeah.
It's like a list off.
Like a carnival game.
Listen, this episode this might just be every episode. Again, I'm basically watching the series fresh as a new viewer, but in all 3 episodes so far, I've walked away going, this was juicy.
Yeah.
Like there is not a shortage of good content to really get into. I mean, this one starts off hot and kind of stays that way. Is that just every episode of this show? Is this why the show is what it is?
Not every episode. There's some filler space episodes.
Yeah, but this one was fun. And I think Liz gave us a great indicator that it would be right from the jump, because all of the opening scenes happen so fast and there's so much movement and, tension and humor, and whether it's this low moment for Haley or the, comedy of like Brooke and Julian, and then Skills, getting naked and getting scared, and then Alex having been out all night in the shower gag, like it's flying at you so fast, and each thing is juicy. Like each little beat has a detail to it that we haven't really either seen before or that we know we want to see more of, per Skills and Mouth.
And speaking of Brooke and Julian, shout out to Austin for being the sacrificial lamb in that opening vignette where he is wildly, gratuitously, and unnecessarily just shaving in his underwear. It was like, oh yeah, okay. And a part of me was like, sorry, buddy, I didn't take my shirt off last episode, so they're doubling down on you. You're the team player, apparently. Yeah, Brooke just walks by Julian, she says something, and he's just standing in his boxer briefs, shaving, and is like, okay. He could have been doing literally anything, and they're like, nah.
They had to fill their quota.
Yeah.
Was this the time in the show where it was switched over to CW by then? Because, we started out on the WB, and then there was that merge with UPN and CW, or they created CW. Was this the point where we were officially competing with the OC and Gossip Girl and all those shows where it was so much gratuitous, whatever, like sex everywhere?
Yeah.
They just wanted to make sure that you guys had your shirts off on the beach. They wanted to make sure that somebody is naked in every episode.
They sure seem to. But let me tell you what, I had two thoughts when that scene hit. First was, thanks, Austin, for being the sacrificial lamb, so I didn't have to do it. And also, good for you, sir. Like, Austin was surfing every weekend. He looks so good. And I was like, someday you're actually going to love that you have this. I hated when people used to say that to me when we were in our 20s, and they'd be like, someday you'll be thrilled you knew you looked like this. But I was like, you know what? That's going to be nice for you to have someday. Congratulations, my friend. You look great.
Yeah, I recently worked with a director who did an episode of our show, and I was asking him, like, oh, what did you do? And it was during the time when Julian was just sort of being introduced, and he was like, yeah, it was when they were introducing, Austin as the new sex pylon. And I went, what? I had never heard the term sex pylon, but I have to say, when I was watching that opening vignette and he's just standing there looking amazing, I thought, it's not, it's a bit objectifying, but sex pylon, that shoe fits.
It tracks. Yeah.
It tracks.
By the way, Rob, I know you didn't take your shirt off in the last episode, but I do not want you to feel left out. And since we did start on the Clay and Haley of it all, I literally have in my notes when you guys get out for that beat on the pier where you're like really being like, but this is the thing, and we might have to do it. And it's like the notes about this scene, and then in all caps, Rob has beautiful skin.
Oh.
Like, I literally made a note. I was like, sir, do you like the close up? You have no pores. Also, congratulations to you.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, I have it in here somewhere. I think this is the episode. So when I first got on, there was a worry that I wasn't quite old enough for the role, that I looked a little baby faced for it and for what they wanted me to be doing. And so, of course, their Hollywood solution was grow some stubble. And at this time, I mean, you've seen the extent of my stubble at the time. And I think this was the episode where we just went, let's just go clean shaven. Like, I remember it wasn't comfortable for me. And by that point, they had seen enough dailies to go, you still look like a baby faced kid with just a little bit of stubble. So there's a scene later on. Yeah, it's actually the scene with Joy where I put my arm around her, where if you notice, all of a sudden Clay's clean shaven. I think that was the moment on the show where they went, let's just give up the ruse and just go clean shaven.
So do you stick with that clean shaven for the rest of the
I believe so.
show? Season, at least?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah, you do have beautiful skin. You should have gotten a men's grooming campaign off of that show.
Gosh, let's
done it.
Let's just talk about my skin for the next hour. Say more about it. No. One thing I thought that was so awesome in this episode is all of the Alex, Brooke, and Millie stuff.
Tell me all about it.
Like, so I just want to start by saying Jana does such an incredible job with this role.
She is so good.
She's so good. She's so good. And I think because I wasn't doing many scenes with her, I was just in the dark about it. But, one thing I love about a character is when it's hard to make a decision on who they are. Like, I like a bad guy with some humanity. I like a good person with some flaws. And what's so great is there's a couple moments in this because she is so over the top, just dumpster fire, dumb, self-absorbed. And then she has these moments of sincerity or self-awareness so she's hilarious all episode, just getting ahead a bit, but there's also an amazing cameo by our artist, Tim, who plays her makeup artist at the shoot. And there's a moment where she's on at the shoot and she says, it's her and Millie and Tim is doing her touch-ups. And she says, how do I look? And Tim goes ahead and answers and he goes, fabulous. And without skipping a beat, she goes, I didn't ask for the help. I didn't ask the help. Millie, how do I look? And Millie goes, why are you asking me? And she goes, because you're the only one who's honest with me here. And it was that great moment of, but you're also smart enough to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff later in the episode. But so talk about that, because your stuff with her, I mean, when you try to get the dog out of, or excuse me, she comes in and tries to slam a pill when she's jet lagged and hungover for the shoot. And she announces to everyone, I just need a pill, and she puts a pill in her mouth. Soph does a bit where she runs over and tries to get the pill out of her mouth exactly the way you would a dog. It is so funny.
It was so fun.
I'm seeing it in my mind. I can totally picture this.
Oh my God. It's so, I mean, Jana is so funny. I'm relishing in watching her as a viewer and not as a scene partner. Because as a scene partner, I had to be irritated all the time, which was hard because she's so fucking funny. And now I'm just getting to laugh. But I forgot what happened in that scene. And yeah, I mean, she puts a pill in her mouth and I grab her face like this so she can't close her lips and literally just dump her head over, like from the back of the neck. I grab her by the back of the neck. I yelped. It made me laugh so hard.
Genius.
It's just so good. And Millie catches the pill out of her mouth and the whole thing. It's just like parental gone sideways. And it's so funny. And I think it is so hilarious because of how hard Jana commits. And then we just have to react around her. And it's perfect.
She does commit all the time. And I agree with you, Rob. It's so interesting to watch a character that keeps you on your toes. It's the same, it's a Gene Wilder thing with at the beginning of Willy Wonka and the Cane, right? Where he comes out and it's just like you think he's one thing and then he flips over and reveals himself to be someone that you never quite know what's really going on. And I love that. I don't know that we have another character on the show like that. Like Dan, you always really know at the baseline what's actually going on, no matter what he's putting up. But I like this. The introduction of a character that's so complex and she's got so many different layers.
Jana manages to play her in this way where she leans into everything horrible so much, but there's clearly something under there.
Yeah.
Like Alex is the kind of character that drives you crazy, but something in you likes her. And I made a note. I was like, oh my God, I'm having the joy experience. When we get to the end of the episode and I'm watching like the genuine flirtation between Alex and Julian, I hate it. I'm like, I hate that. Oh, I really don't like that at all. Wow. Oh my God. I remember when Joy said this about Haley not liking seeing Nathan with somebody Yeah. And then I was like, well, I guess maybe that's part of how you know as an actor that you're in the right like end game relationship. Because I was like, oh no, I hate this part. Like Julian is Brooke's person. Ma'am, go away.
Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Bye.
But like they're so good and so likable. Then I'm watching it going, well, of course he likes her. Look at her. How could you not like her? She's so funny and horrible, but great.
And then what they did that was so smart was because it wasn't just about a physical thing. It would have really kind of put Julian in a bad light if it was just a pretty girl flirting with him and him entertaining it. What it actually becomes is she shows up at Brooke and Julian's place with a script.
Yeah.
She's like, I know you think I'm dumb. I am, but I also know what I'm doing, and this is a good script, and you're a producer, and you should read it. So, and then it's like, okay, it's not just that he's chasing the next pretty thing. There's actually something here that he finds intriguing, and there might be a business. It was a great way to sort of allow what happened to happen without it being like, is he not the guy we thought he was?
Yeah.
No. He's endeared to her because she is smart.
And it's rooted in the purpose he feels like he's lacking. She pushes his buttons early in the episode, Joy, and asks why he's not doing that movie in New Zealand. And he said he was looking for something else. And it later comes back around where she essentially says, oh, you thought I meant the something else could be me? No, it's this script I have for you. And so she's meeting him in this space of like loss and lack with, purpose, maybe his next creative thing. And so there's like a passion to bond over, not just an energy.
Yes. And she allows that moment to happen, which is great. You're business savvy. You're not just a one note terrible person. And then literally in the same breath goes, actually another boy's having me tonight, but I can come by afterwards if you want. So it was like she earned a moment and then was like, but I'm Alex. So no.
Yeah. But I love that. That's what keeps me giggling. And then I'm like, God, just when I felt something about this energy. Now I want to punch her all over again. Great.
I appreciate how complex she is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, random sidebar. I love Gene Wilder. Did you know that he told the director of Willy Wonka that whole move where he walks with the cane and then rolls and jumps up? That wasn't in the script. That was Gene's idea. And he said, I'm not doing the movie if we're not doing it. And the director said, are you serious? Why? And he said, because it sets up the entire movie that if I do that from that point on, you won't know what's real and what's make-believe. Isn't that a genius? I mean,
so genius.
So smart.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking of smart, let's talk about Rachel, because
oh my God,
Rachel and Dan's story unfolding this episode, I thought was told so incredibly well.
It was my favorite thing. So
interesting. The shot of when Rachel reveals that she was the one. So this, sorry, Joy, this is when Paul's doing his show, Dan's doing his show. Yeah. And a man stands up mid-show and is like, murder, murder. And it catches him off guard, but they roll, and Rachel says, roll the cameras. Then they come back to it after, and when it's after the show and Rachel walks up and Dan says, like, I'm sorry. And she's like, don't be, I planned that. There's this great moment. So first of all, you realize she is just so business savvy. Yeah. And also, like, does she care about him or is it business? But then isn't this end of that scene great? So if I thought Liz did such a good job where it has the shot watches Rachel walk off stage, but she literally, it's just her silhouette and she walks into darkness and just fades to black.
Oh.
It was so well lit. That got me. And what I loved about their story is you see her power as, you know, his business partner and wife. And he does that. He'll be like, my producer, who's also my wife, is how he brings her on stage in this episode. It just was like, oh my God, you see not just her savvy in the moment, you get the flashbacks and you see it go back. So you see when they meet, because when he brings her up, they start doing this whole storytelling about like, oh, and when we met, we wanted the same thing. And it was so chaste and like he's wasted in a strip club and she recognizes him and is performing. And, you know, you have all these scenes of them in this motel and he's drinking himself to death and he's reading all these self-help books and she's kind of going at him about what a lazy, you know, way that is to try to fix yourself. And then he says something and she realizes like, oh, that's a self-help book. And immediately she makes him quit drinking. She's like, don't drink that. I need you. Do you want to get out of here? And I was like, I'm obsessed with her. Yeah.
Wily.
The show is very good at not letting you figure people out right away. Or just giving multi-layered portrayals of people, because that whole flashback storytelling starts with her in a strip club. Yeah. And so you're like, okay, she's the hot girl who's a stripper now, whatever. And then, like Soph was saying, it ends with her being smart enough to realize there's an amazing business opportunity here where we can both get out of this rut we're in. And there's also the way that the storytelling and the way it's shot is so great because they finish having sex and they roll off each other. And she says, not bad for a guy with a bad heart. And he says, why don't you stay the night and see if you can kill me? And she says, that'll be expensive. And he says, that's okay. I'm rich and I'm dying. And then it cuts to them in the present day on stage being sweet and polished. And she's like, he had everything I wanted. And he's like, and so did you. And I thought that was such a great moment of sort of like exposing how much hypocrisy there is in terms of like how people portray their lives to be versus what it actually is, you know? And they did such a good job with their stuff.
It was great. And they're so subtle together and you watch. And I think that's where you see Paul and Neil a bit because they're both so smart. And you watch in these quiet moments with Dan and Rachel, they're having this real tete-a-tete. You see their sort of reactions and looks communicating with each other before they speak. And it's so refreshing because you know that when they're on the talk show set, they're performing. But when you get to see underneath when they're not, it actually made me such a fan of them as a unit.
Yeah. And getting to see, again, that he's so sweet and soft with her. You know, he's so charismatic on camera, but then he kind of becomes like a little boyish around her, you know? And so again, it's not making it easy to figure him out.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really still drawing out the mystery that we were discussing last time of seeing him with his, oh God, Rob, I meant to mention it last time. You used this phrase, the man experiencing homelessness, instead of saying a homeless man. I just thought that was such a lovely phrase. But yeah, so he was, sitting down with that man, and we were talking about how it seems there's this ambiguity of like, where is he? Is he actually trying to change? Does this episode continue that question, or is it more clear that it's like, no, he's definitely a full hypocrite and this is all a ruse?
I think it's still very much telling a story where this could be the new Dan. Because what they're showing in this story, part of it is he was a guy at rock bottom who wanted to die. And now he seems to be a man with purpose. So up until this point, you can be suspect of her because her trajectory does seem quite opportunistic, whereas his seems genuine.
And she's not being forthright that she used to be a stripper. I guess if she's charging him, then she's a prostitute also. But like, she's not being forthright that this is where I used to be, and now I'm in it. I've recovered from the position that I was in before.
I don't know.
So is it like we're hiding this, or she's being open about it?
No, because when we first see him on the talk show, he says, "My wife used to drink and sleep around,
use
like
drugs and all the things."
Okay, yeah,
to the
that's
point
true.
so that when he first, I remember hearing it for the first time, going, "Ooh, buddy, you are roasting your wife right now. Do we need to be this honest?" But no, so they, to their credit, they've been pretty forthright with, we came from a pretty unhappy place.
Yeah, I don't think they're being forthright about their first date night.
Yes.
Right.
But they are very open about who they used to be. You know, the sort of stereotype of the broken person I used to be seems to really be their thing.
We shall see. I want to know what happened with Mouth and Skills.
Oh, first of all, one of my very first notes is I love the pickle that we have found Mouth in, because what it opens with him at the news station and his station manager coming up and going, "Hey, your buddy was Nathan Scott?" "Oh yeah, old buddies." "Great. He went into a restaurant, flipped out on a woman the other day, and can you look into it?" And then he meets up with Nathan at River Court and has to ask him. But what I loved about it, Mouth is such a big heart, man. He's such a good friend, because he asked Nathan, and he doesn't ask if it's true first. The first thing he says was, "I'm so sorry, man."
Yeah.
You know, and he ends the conversation with, Nathan says, "What are you going to do?" And he says, "Nothing. Let me know if you need anything." I thought, oh man, that's a buddy. He's got his back, you know? And then to Nathan's credit, because he knows the situation that Mouth is in, after Mouth says that and starts to walk away, he stops him and goes, "Hey, you do what you got to do. You have the job to do. If you have to report, you report." You know, and I thought there was so much respect shown between the two.
Wow. That's tough.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what do you do? It's like you always, of course, you want to believe the best in your friends, but then you have to sort of entertain an allegation. I thought it actually was kind of quite timely with sort of everything that has happened with Me Too and everything in the past, where I thought, oh, it's like, how do you reconcile if someone you love has done something, that you don't agree with, or that is just straight up bad, you know? And I thought, oh my gosh. So when the episode started, I thought, oh, I can't wait to watch you walk this line, buddy.
Wow. I love that. I love Nathan just giving him the permission to do his job. Be like, it's not going to affect our friendship. I know you have a job to do. I know you're not going to do something salacious and try and do a hit piece on me or hurt me. Like, but I also understand the position you're in, and it's a small town. Like, you have to report what you report. Whoa, that's tough. But that's a lot of honor and courage. Stand up guy.
A boss move, because if he knows he's innocent, then why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of his conviction that he's like, I know how the story ends, so you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. One way or the other. Eventually a paternity test happens, and he knows that the information will come out. So also that's a real hole in her whole issue. Like she's trying to get $200,000, but for what? Like wait 6 months and find out.
Well, or is the goal to get the money before you can find out? If Renee is really the person we're led to believe she is, right? Like if she's the kind of, stereotypical, vixen, horrible person who would do this to some family, like, okay. But, if so, is the whole idea to get paid before you could get an amnio or any of those other tests?
Yeah, but if she knows that it's not real and it's not true, and she knows that he knows, and she knows that he knows that she knows, then not to make it too complicated, but like, why not just wait 6 months?
Because I think what she's doing is playing off the fact he is in a contract year right now and he is trying to get a new deal, and this could really hinder his value. I think that's what they're going
timing.
For, is that, that it's entirely calculated, that she knows he's up for something right now and this would not help his case at all.
Yeah.
But also, let's be honest, it's the NBA. That would not hurt him. NBA has no problem paying people who do all sorts of things. I mean,
I guess that's
all professional sports. So it's a kind of a altruistic assumption on the NBA's part. But I think that's what she's going for, is that she knows he's in a time crunch. And so she's just trying to capitalize on that. Mm. You have a great line, Joy, at the start of this episode where it's when you and Nathan are talking about it for the first time in the kitchen, and you're looking at the party pictures of she and Nathan and Clay off to the side, and you say, "Drunken sluts with perfect teeth."
I wrote that down too.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was also a really good scene because you see the simplicity of the situation. Nathan is like, I get asked to take pictures all the time. And you are explaining that because it's late and she looks the way she looks and his arm is around her and she's carrying a cocktail and he's got a beer in his other hand. Like, him, this is normal. And you say, but it looks bad. And you should be smart enough to know that.
Yeah.
And that's such a thing, right? Like in our world, it doesn't always matter what's true. It matters what something looks like.
Absolutely.
And what I loved is that you seem to be clearly communicating that you believe him and you know this isn't true, but you know that everyone who likes to shit on people out there in the world, I mean, hello, look at the internet, that they're going to go, he did it. I can tell by that photo, that meaningless photo, I see something. And some stranger will decide that what didn't happen is true, and you'll never be able to convince them otherwise.
Totally. That is so tough. That is such a tough road to navigate. Mm-hmm. I mean, for everyone in the public eye, or anyone in leadership positions, like teachers who need to make sure their doors open when they're meeting with a female student, to whatever you're, I don't know, who you're sitting with in a restaurant or what you're posting online. It's like there's an element of, okay, I'm a human being. I get to live my life, and I can't be wandering around worrying about everyone and pleasing everyone in everyone's mind, making sure that everybody knows and sees me the correct, it's too much. You could never. But then there's also a tier of responsibility depending on the position that you're in. And I don't know that those lines are clear cut, but it is an interesting topic to explore. Yeah.
And what's fun about the mouth dynamic of it is he doesn't have the luxury of all the other people in Nathan's lives where he can kind of sit back and wait for things to unfold. He's a bit in a pressurized situation because he's going to be forced to speak on it in one way or the other publicly. So he doesn't get to kind of sit back and go, I don't believe it, but let's just see. He has to actually come forward and start reporting on it. So I liked that because I was immediately stressed out for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't envy this position at all, And
the way the days diverge is so interesting because Mouth's day starts off hilarious. Skills gets up, immediately drops trowel, walks out into the living room, and then you hear him scream at the top of his lungs. And you see Mouth walking out laughing, adjusting his tie on his way to work. And like, they're having this fun day. And then he just gets slammed sideways. And then the central theme in such separate ways for Mouth and for Skills is really about friendship. But Mouth is dealing with this crazy thing with Nathan, and Skills calls Jamie to help him trap a lizard. It's like they could not be having more opposite days, but they circle back around together to each other on this subject at the end. And hearing them talk about their friendship was like even more weighted, I guess, for me, given what I'd seen Mouth just do with Nathan and their friendship.
And Jamie was once again the wise little owl who Skills initially calls to come over to help him with the iguana. And there's a hilarious exchange where Jamie's there and he's like, all right, so how much are you going to give me to do it? And he goes, all right. And he pulls out like $20 from his pocket and he goes, cool. He says something like, this is catching cat money.
Catching a mouse.
It's catching a mouse. And so he starts, he's bargaining up Skills. So Skills is like, come on, has to give him all the money in his pocket. And he's like, now I can catch a dragon. He says something like, this isn't small dragon money or something. But what it ends up becoming is then Skills sort of downloading the situation with Mouth to Jamie. And again, Jamie, just being a child, he just sort of says what's obvious, what's simple, and what's honest. And Skills, sort of tells him what's going on. And Jamie just goes like, what did he say when you said that? And he's like, oh, I guess I haven't said any of that. He's like, yeah, dum-dum, tell him how you feel, basically, Yeah.
Talk to your friend.
Yeah, talk to your friend, right? But again, it's just funny. It's like, it's the child who's able to see it the most clearly. I have a question. So if I guess this one's for you, but Joy, you can weigh in on this. So later in the episode, there's a fun bit where Brooke takes Quinn, and I think Millie joins as well, out to Trick for a drink and Haley's there. That's right. Because they go out because Haley's having such a hard time with what's going on, with what's transpiring. And because at this point, it looks like they are leaning towards having to pay $200,000 to this woman who's lying. So Haley's out of sorts.
Insane.
Looks like, I'm going to take you to Trick. We're going to drink. Mm-hmm. And so there's some funny stuff there. But towards the end of it, Alex walks up to Clay. Clay's drinking and she's like, oh, tequila. I used to love that. And Clay's like, oh, cool. And he takes a shot and she kisses me as soon as I've had the shot, like presumably to get like a little taste on her lips. And then when she throws herself at me, I'm like, great, be at my house in 30 minutes. Her exit move is she licks my neck. And my first thought was, ew, and has nothing to do with Alex or Janet. It's just, I don't want anyone licking me. But my question was there ever a time when that was hot? Would that ever work for you? If a dude licked you?
First of all, was this in the script?
It had to be.
I think it was meant to be kind of like because she kisses him to get the tequila, does the lime. And I think it was like I don't know.
You're looking for salt.
Sweating. You're looking for salt was what I thought
got it.
Was the idea. But no, if a person just licked me, they'd get punched in the face.
Yes.
Period. That's so, I mean, you guys are flirting and kissing and clearly arranging to like have a little sexy time. But like, if just a human in a bar licked me, no, dog, you're getting punched right in the mouth.
Yeah, this felt like one of those moments where I was keenly aware of how much time has passed for me between shooting this series and where I am now. Because at the time, I did not bump on it. I probably thought, yeah, this is hot.
Spicy.
And now, at 43 years old, I watched it and I went, ew, disgusting.
Ew.
That would be my heart out. I'm done. I got to go wash my neck.
Was it a strong lick or was it like a little taste?
No, Joy, it was strong. She committed.
Like a head grab and a what would you say? Like under collarbone to under ear?
100%. It went clavicle almost to earlobe tip.
Yeah.
That's a lot of real estate. That's a lot of delicate real estate. Also, close to my nose. So if you have bad breath, I might catch a whiff of it. And then I'm for sure throwing up and we can never see each other again.
Never.
It's a nightmare of mine. Listen, insight into my childhood trauma. One of the things my mom used to do to me was once I got too big for her to like be able to like wrestle me or manhandle me, and she knew she like lost that, she would lick her finger and wipe it on me.
No.
True. Unfortunately, I swear to God, it's the truth.
Okay.
And it disgusted me to no end.
Yeah.
So she knew it
Horrifying.
worked. So I got to say, I also am bringing emotional baggage into this
Got it.
reaction.
Got it.
I'm going to own that, listener.
Okay.
I get it, but I still think it's disgusting.
You know what I will say, Rob, is bravo to you, because what that is you identifying a trigger. And clearly your therapist is great.
Gold star from Trevor.
Hey, my guy.
I don't know. I'm thinking about this. I'm trying to be fair. Like, I don't know, if I met somebody in a bar and we're flirting and it's like going well and we do shots.
And then they lick you like a basset hound?
Not the strong lick like that I could not handle.
Mm.
Like maybe like a little tongue tuck, like just like a little taste before we walk out the door together.
Like, but in a kiss, you mean? Not in...
No, like
You want like a...
Isolated event.
I don't know why my instinct is that. I don't know.
No, you would want to kiss instead. Yeah, but or like it's I feel like I could see it being a little sexier from a girl than a guy for some reason.
Well, can confirm.
All right. Two things though. You have to go to YouTube and watch what Soph was how she was just trying to pantomime.
No, that's not going.
Please.
I just am like, what's the scene? What's the blocking? Also, I realize like we're so Pavlovian. I have this little square, so I'm trying to fit all my action into it. And then I just look like a mole. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I don't know, man.
That feels like a little much, the clavicle to ear
It
situation.
was a big lick they had her do. She's a real team player, Jana.
She went for it.
Yeah.
I actually think what may have happened was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson were a couple, there was a famous moment or a famous picture of him licking the side of her face.
Mm.
Oh,
I do want to say that I feel like our boss was very influenced by rock stars.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me if that was something that was seen
that they wanted. Yeah.
and it was like, hey, that guy did it. It's cool and sexy.
It's hot.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah. The only person I've ever, pantomime, I didn't like swipe the lick, but I did that pose once with my best friend Cameron, which like tracks because Cameron is gay and not a man who I'm like involved with. It was like this very funny thing that we did. I was like adjusting his bow tie and someone referenced that. So we took this photo because it was like this amazing black and white. It doesn't matter. I'm digressing. It got so creepy.
It sounds great.
Because it's honestly like a very sexy picture, but neither of us wants to date each other. So that's not it. Years later, someone took that photo and photoshopped Jensen's face into it. So now it looks like there is a picture of me licking Daniil's husband's face.
Why do people do these things?
Well, I don't know, because they want to do like whoever his character was on Supernatural and Brooke Davis, like fan fiction. I don't fucking know. But it's so creepy to all of us involved. And like, I don't know, man.
It's a good thing now you can't trust any pictures that you see ever because everything is just digitally altered.
The problem is we know that. The internet doesn't know that. So the problem is that photo gets reposted.
Oh, yeah.
And before a voice of reason comes in, there'll be 100 people who will be like, that's not right. He's married. She should know better. And then 80 comments down will be someone going, actually, this is an edited photo from 2016.
Yeah.
But at that point, people have already had 2 hours to get upset about it,
Well, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's just icky to me. I don't know. So I guess that's
I've never had the urge to
lick.
lick anyone's face. I mean, I get it in a comical context. Like obviously that's funny, but as like a sexy move.
No, but not as a move.
Not my move.
That's exactly what that's I guess why I'm like describing the literal 0 ounce of chemistry Cameron and I have. Yeah. Because it's like, it's it has to be a gag, or I guess
It's a
something
gag.
they ask for in a scene. I just don't know that would be like I don't know. Not for me. I'm on Team Rob.
No.
I'm not into the licking. We're moving on.
It can't be a move. Maybe a flourish at best, but you can't be like, I open doors, I pick up checks, and I lick necks. You know?
No.
That can't be your romantic toolkit.
Oh my God. Why do I feel like you just wrote a country song?
You did.
Oh my God.
And we need that on a t-shirt.
Joy,
too.
get to it.
I open doors and I write checks.
There it is.
I flirt with boys and I lick their necks. Gross.
Oh, it's
Gross.
so good.
You know what?
though.
I do want to shout out, though, that was also great. And again, just to really repeat how hilarious Jana is. Before she makes out with Clay for the tequila and grabs the lime, she orders 2 tequila shots at the bar, Joy, and she's like in a terrible disguise. You clearly know it's Alex Dupre. And Millie catches her and she goes, well, we're drinking. And she makes Millie take both tequila shots. And when Millie takes the shot, she bites the lime, Alex does, and just watches. And she looks at her and she goes, are we drunk yet? And Millie kind of shakes her head and goes, no, we're buzzed. And she's like, oh, I love being buzzed. And it is so funny. It's just so funny.
I love that. I love the unpredictability in a girl who
Yeah.
plays. Like, is she actually playing dumb? Is she using she's just using her entire toolkit, her body, her wiles, her wisdom, her vulnerability, like all the things. I mean, it's kind of terrifying of somebody who is able to manipulate all of themselves in that way, but super fun to watch.
So
For sure.
fun.
We also had the arrival at the very end of Allison Munn's real life husband, Scott Holroyd,
Yay!
as Chantel's husband. So that was kind of a fun reveal at the very end. She's not answering her phone at Trick, and then he's awkward right behind her.
Ooh.
She screens his call, and he's like, "You're gonna have to answer sooner or later." Like,
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
What's with the photo shoot? You guys organized a photo shoot for what? Is this the Alex thing?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's the big Close Over Bros shoot. So the sort of running past Julian in only his boxers in the morning happens because Brooke is saying she's late. And it's like this whirlwind of, me going to work and him being stuck at home. And it's really well set up from the beginning. Tim, our actual makeup artist from the show, is playing Alex's makeup artist. It's very flourish of things happening in the store. And then we go and do the photo shoot up on the roof that used to be the putt-putt course.
Yeah.
And it's really like, it's fun and it's lively and it's loud. And there's a lot of, I don't know, I felt like we kind of got a peek behind the curtain at production, obviously in like a very pop way. I liked it.
Is that the first time we've seen the golf course, not golf coursey?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I don't know.
Removed. That was sad.
Mhm.
That was sad when it disappeared.
there was
Yeah.
also a funny moment at that shoot where it opens with Alex showing up a proper mess, just hungover and disheveled, and announces to a room full of people, "I need a pill." That's when the whole bit where Sophie's trying to slap the pill out of her mouth. And so she's made a whole production of that, right? And then later at the end of the shoot, or towards the end of the shoot, you see her sort of sneak away, and Millie walks by and goes like, "You good?" And she goes, "Yeah, I just need a water." And then after Millie walks away, she like surreptitiously tries to take a pill. I'm like, why are we being coy now? You literally announced to the entire room, "I need a pill," when you walked in the door.
She didn't want to get attacked. She wanted to get bum rushed.
Yeah.
See, that makes more sense. I guess I was thinking of it like she thought she was keeping a secret. And to me, I'm like, there's no secret. Cat came out of the bag the second you walked in the room, But that makes sense.
Yeah. She doesn't want to get tackled.
Yeah.
Joy, what was your honorable mention from the episode?
My honorable mention is your thumb on my shoulder. Just, the last little detail.
Oh my God. Honestly, my honorable mention occurs, it's a very random thing, but I was very impressed by it. When we're doing glam before the shoot for Alex downstairs at Close Over Bros, Joy, Julian walks in and hands me my coffee order, Millie her coffee order, turns around to Quinn with her coffee order and says, "I called Haley." And I was like, That's nice. That's
Yes,
nice.
keep that, man.
Like keep that energy with people. The thought that, somebody would do that, I was like, honorable mention for sure.
Yeah.
Classy move, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a good dude. Mine would be from the same scene where when Alex sits in the chair, Soph, you come in red hot with the line where you lean in and you say to Tim, the makeup artist, you might want to start with a little lying slut remover. And I just remember thinking, this is the person you just paid $500,000 to look happy in your clothing right before the shoot. You opened with, why don't you use a little lying slut remover on her?
Brooke can't help herself. So good.
We just had to commit.
It was great. So many quotables in this show. So many great lines, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to watch this episode. I'm gonna
so
do a double header.
I love it. Well, we have a listener question. Oh, Kayla asks, if you could have any character from One Tree Hill as your best friend in real life, who would it be and why? That's so
Damn.
sweet.
That's a
Damn.
great
It is
question.
sweet. I'm going Brooke or Skills. I think both are excellent choices for very different reasons.
I love that. Honestly, yeah, I'd want to be friends with Brooke Davis, but that might break the time-space continuum. So
Yeah.
I would 100% love to have Skills as my best friend. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skills. Skills is great because you also know you're going to get little Jamie because those two are a tandem
That's right.
package.
Mhm.
But for the sake of just of being different, I will say Mouth because I was really moved by how sweet he was. I just felt like I was watching a real steady good friend this episode. And I that's what I'd like. I just give me a good steady buddy who's in my corner.
Yeah.
Love it. Should we spin a wheel?
I think
Spin
we
away,
should.
oh.
Let's see.
Most likely to save you from a bad first date.
I love it.
How is that not Brooke? Who else would it be? Maybe Millie.
Brooke was my immediate knee jerk as well. My second thought
Yeah.
was Clay because we see him doing a lot of cleaning up.
Oh yeah, a lot of crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, my heart immediately shouted Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel that.
It's unanimous.
Yeah, I think all of Brooke's friends have a text code with her, and I don't know what the code word is, but she gets that message, and it's like, check the location, show up, and
Yeah. And then you get the call,
On
something
fire.
bad happened.
that's right.
Must go.
Quick! Willie fell down the well. You better come with me now.
It's like it's the Brooke signal instead of the bat signal. It's just a giant. It's a giant thumbs down shown into the sky, and she knows she needs to swoop in and save a friend from a lame date. Yeah. What do we got next episode, Soph?
Oh my goodness. Next week, season 7, episode 4, Believe Me, I'm Lying.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at Drama Queens OTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.